The potential use of drones for Fajr research. During the lockdown, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, ISRN wanted to collect the Fajr data. At that time, air pollution seemed to be much lower than usual. Its objective was to see whether or not there was a correlation between air pollution and the late presence of dawn. However, the lockdown had instead restricted the mobilization of the observation team to altitude areas outside the city. Data collection option from the top floor of the hotel was not an option either because there is no guarantee of hotel safety and cleanliness. During the pandemic, we know hotels cut the quality of their services. Besides, we should be able to buy new equipment at the cost of staying at a hotel instead. Finally, we took the data from the roof of the mosque near the house. We decided on the cost of data collection at the hotel for the purchase of drones. We bought the cheapest drone, DJI Mavic Mini, including batteries weighing only 249 grams, so no license is needed to fly this drone. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, requires a permit to fly drones with a minimum of 250 grams. Perhaps this is the first drone in the world to detect the presence of dawn. After several failed attempts, this is the result of observations of the dawn through drone data. Observer, Haru Weibo, date, June 24, 2020. Observation location, Kalianki, West Jakarta. Geometric resolution, 9 megapixels, which consist of 4,000 columns and 2,250 rows. Radiometric resolution, 8-bit. Spectral resolution, 3-channel visible light, red, green, and blue. Temporal resolution, 10 seconds. Flying height, 30 meters. We obtained 115 photos by operating the drones from 5:07 to 5:25 with a temporal resolution of 10 seconds. The table on this slide shows data for each photo. The first column shows the image number. The second column is the timestamp of the image. The third column indicates the corresponding sun depression angle at the time given in column 2. The fourth column is the calculated standard deviation of the image. There are two kinds of plots with different independent variables in this slide. In both cases, the dependent variable is the calculated standard deviation. In the above figure, the independent variable is time. Meanwhile, in the graph below, the independent variable is the sun depression angle. As usual, we then apply a higher degree polynomial model for both of these plots. Mathematically, the Fajr occurs at the lowest point on the plot. Beyond this point, the standard deviation continues to increase exponentially. It is indicating the presence of sunlight that is getting closer to the local horizon. Both models give the same results to confirm that the Fajr occurred at 5 hours 13 minutes and 26 seconds when the sun was at its depression angle of 12.1 degrees. 3D surface model analysis. We should bear in mind that although an image is physically 2D, it contains 3D information. The first two components are the row and column number of a pixel. The third information is the pixel's brightness expressed as the grayscale in 3 primary channels of the visible light, namely red, green, and blue. The Mavic Mini drone generates a 9MP image having 4,000 pixels by 2,250 pixels. ImageJ, an open-source software, describes this pixel near the top right corner of the image has the following information: x equals 3,927, y equals 57, grayscales at red, green, and blue channels are 43, 44, and 46. As it is an 8-bit image, the grayscale ranges from 0 or black to 255 or white. Meanwhile, a pixel near the bottom left corner of the image has the following information: x equals 477, y equals 2058. Grayscales at red, green, and blue channels 4, 2, and 3 respectively. Having this 3D information structure, therefore, a pixel in an image is unique from the 3-dimensional information. A computer can describe it in the form of the 3D surface model, as shown in the following slides. This graph is the same graph that we had before. The photo underneath is the original photo having the same timestamp, as shown by this arrow. At that time, the sun was at 13.5 degrees below the local horizon. On the right is a 3D surface model of the photo. This photo indeed shows the high degree of pollution, both air pollution and light pollution. The parts on the right are light pollution that appears on the 3D surface plot. We continue this 3D analysis by looking at the next photo in 3D plot. This slide shows photo ID number 14, which is when the sun was at a depth of 13.0 degrees below the local horizon and is indicated by the red arrow in this plot. There are no significant changes in the 3D surface model between image numbers 1 and 14. It demonstrates that the dawn has not yet appeared between images number 1 and 14. We continue to move to photo ID number 26 when the sun was at 12.5 degrees below the horizon. Neither did we recognize any difference between the 3D surface model of images number 14 and 26. It further confirms that the Fajr had not occurred between these two images. In photo number 37, the system we developed can detect the dawn when the polynomial model shows its lowest point. At this moment, the sun was at 12.1 degrees below the horizon. From this point on, the standard deviation of the photos increases exponentially, starting from photo ID number 41. In this photo, the naked eye begins to distinguish the presence of dawn, which is indicated by the reddish hue and yellow arrows on the 3D surface model. Henceforth, the reddish intensity is getting more influential in the following images. Image number 53 when the sun was at 11.5 degree depth. Image number 65 when the sun was at 11.0 degrees below the horizon. Image number 77 when the sun was at 10.6 degrees below the horizon. Image number 89 when the reddish hue is more apparent, as shown by the yellow arrow. At this point, the sun was at 10.1 degree depth. Image number 101 when the sun was at minus 9.6 degrees from the horizon. And image number 108 at the end of the graph when the sun was at 9.4 degrees from the local horizon. To this point, one should be able to see that the 3D surface plot can separate and localize the appearance of the dawn in the background sky from the constant light pollution in the foreground. It happens so because nature has stochastic characteristics. Unlike builders who paint evenly leaving gapless on the wall, the environment's stochastic features always leave gaps. An imaging sensor will then be able to sense the sunlight sneaking through these gaps. Therefore, it is not true that light pollution can inhibit the presence of Fajr. Finally, at photo ID number 115, at 5 hours 25 minutes and 26 seconds or when the sun was 9.2 degrees below the local horizon, it was still 37 minutes away from the sunrise. Therefore, Muslims should not be alarmed because there was still plenty of time to perform the Fajr prayer. Conclusion: the potential use of drones for dawn research is very bright. We don't need to go to the height to take pictures of the horizon and the dawn. ISRN is carrying out an update into the procedures so that the flight time is at least 45 minutes. Theoretically, the maximum flight time is only 30 minutes. Besides, when the battery goes below 25%, the drone automatically returns to the home base. Therefore, the maximum flight time is only about 20 minutes per battery. Unlike the SQM data, which is a 2D data, 3D data causes more accurate data analysis. The analysis of the 3D data can filter the Fajr from light pollution. Light pollution may inhibit the presence of the dawn of a fraction of a second, or maybe even seconds. However, it is very trivial because the accuracy of the prayer timetable is only up to a minute. Pollution is not possible to inhibit the presence of dawn in units of minutes. The wave of the sun's energy becomes even more significant following the exponential function from time to time. The stochastic nature of nature causes gaps between air pollution where a sensor can capture the Fajr. If air pollution can inhibit the presence of dawn 34 minutes, inshallah. No living creature can survive in Jakarta. Thanks for watching, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.